Everybody, just to piggyback, man, on what Travis is saying, man. Welcome to the Laboratory of Redemption. This is week 24. Is this week 24?
Mm-hmm.
That
Week
Kobe.
24.
That
Yeah.
Kobe.
Man, this is week 24. So we've been going at it for a while. Again, Laboratory of Redemption. Uh, um, uh, Week 24. Again, my name is Demetrio. Demetrio Shakan. I've been doing this since 2018. About 5 years now. And I've been actively working about 3.5 of those 5 years. I've done inside. I started in the field. Me, Travis, and Major actually started together on our first assignment. Was a field assignment out in Florida, Hurricane Michael. So that was our first field assignment. So I've been doing this about 5 years. From there, I went inside, worked in there for a few years, a couple of years. And beginning of this year, I wanted to go back outside. So I've been in the field since January. I've been started out in South Carolina, along where I met Miss Janea there, went to Albuquerque. From Albuquerque, I went to Illinois. So they kept me pretty busy this week. So it's been a good year working out in the field. So I'm looking forward to next year. So, yeah, the word that we've been going with this month has been reflection. So that's part of, being reflecting, man. This year, again, I made it a thing, that I had wanted to start out in the field this year and get back out in the field. And I did, got with a great firm, had great opportunities, met great people, built great relationships.
Okay, relationships. He made some of those, and I guess it's going good for him. I'm sure he'll jump back on once he gets out of the matrix.
Right.
Sure.
There's a lot on the horizon for us. We've been putting in a lot of work this year, working toward that. So we're actually going to have, we've been doing new here with the panels. It's actually my turn to get on the panel. Me, Janea, and Kandace will be on the panel this week. And so we will be taking and fielding questions that has already been submitted. And if you guys have any other questions, please feel free to submit those in the chat. We have forms that we would like for you guys to complete in there. There's this information, just stuff that's, so we can fill out and get in contact with you, some contact type forms that we would love to be able to correspond with you, especially keep you updated on what we have coming out. So like I said, we got a lot of great things, man, coming up on the horizon here that we're working on. So 2024 is going to be, man, some great opportunities. So for guys that are here with us, now I know it's the, holiday weekend. So we really do appreciate, man, everybody on the call for taking time out this Christmas Eve and joining us, man, for a little bit. So I know it's going to be a little bit condensed version due to that. So we definitely got that into considerations. So yeah, we'll try to get all the information we can. We'll get this panel. We'll hit this, man. And like I said, we won't take up too much of your time from your family. We appreciate the time that you are giving us. And we want you to get back and enjoy these holiday weekends with your family. So Travis is going to be interviewing us and taking care of all of that whole thing. He's going to be the
That's a lot.
I'm gonna say Montel Williams. You remember Montel
That's
Williams?
a lot.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? And he was cold, wasn't he?
Travis Montel Williams. Montel Williams, because they got the same head.
ARP now, ain't no ARP commercials.
Might be too young for a few of y'all. Y'all might be too old. Y'all don't know. But Montel Williams, Travis is going to be interviewing us. And so I'm looking forward to that, man. So without further ado, Dr. Brock, if you go ahead and go ahead and introduce yourself, man, and let's get this show on the road.
Yes, sir.
Hello, everybody. And my name is Travis Dion Brock, and I will be. Now, hey, I've been doing insurance adjusting. Got licensed in 2017. Got my license and had no idea what to do. I had no idea what my next step was. So I kind of sat there like, man, what else? What now? So I sat around for about a year looking for what to do next. And so I went and talked to somebody. I said, hey, you should go get the certifications. I said, okay, cool. Got certifications. Bet. Right? Still, I wasn't making no money. And then they said, hey, man, get on these rosters and everything. I said, okay, go on the rosters and make no money. First storm, I was going to be going to North Carolina. I was excited about it, like, whoop, whoop. I was driving there, halfway there. Wow. Go back home. What? You kidding, man? I got no money. So I had to go back home. All right. And it sucked because I didn't know what to do next. So I went back and just, okay, well, I guess I'll go back to what I was doing, which was Uber driving in between time. But I'm gonna get off of that. You know what I'm excited about, guys? This year of reflection, for this time period of reflection, because when I reflect back on everything and my whole journey, it's been really, really good to me. More importantly, you never know who you'll meet along your journey. You have no idea how they will impact your life along this journey, because this can be a very, very lonely opportunity, because this is a self thing. This is for you to make your own money, do your own thing. However, if you're open and you're open people coming and talking to you and you're cool with people, you never know what can create out of it. So for instance, the first deployment, I was out there with Major and Demetrio, right? It was a bunch of us out there. I looked to connect with a whole bunch of people. However, the three people I connected with, well, Nick's no longer adjusting, but however, the two that are here today, Demetrio and Major, you never know what happened out of it. You never know, right? So the one thing I'm excited about is listening to Coach K Joy, Demetrio, and Janea. I look forward to listening at them because they're all connected. Because again, you never know who you meet during this process, right? So let me go ahead and let's get a Major. Pin us up, Major. Pin us up, baby. I'm ready. I'm ready, Major. One. Larry iPhone. What's going on, Larry's iPhone? What's up, man? Miss BJ, her, she's got her toes in the sand. Her Jets won. So Sterling's pretty happy about that. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right, good deal. Good deal. All right, you guys. My question is this for you guys. How'd you guys meet? Like, what happened for you guys to meet? What caused you, each of you guys, because you guys connected a weird way? Start with Demetrio. Demetrio, how did you meet these two awesome young ladies?
All right. Well, again, I had the opportunity to meet them on different junctures. Actually, I'm assignment. So I met Kandace first. I was working for this particular firm, and she was one of the managers on the inside. And
Am I tripping?
Yeah.
Am I tripping?
is it?
No,
Is it
yeah.
my mine might be tripping?
Yeah.
Okay, so I may have to go on my phone. So I'll tell you what. Somebody else take that. Let me work on my technical difficulties on my phone.
You sound
laptop.
good, right? You
And
sound good right there.
Now. Yeah, it's good now.
Good
all
right
good.
there. Yeah, just sit
Okay.
forward like
Yeah, you
that.
good
Okay.
now.
It's your glasses. They're beautiful.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me. Okay. Nah. All right. So no, I met Candace on the inside first. We were working an assignment. I was working an assignment, and she was one of the managers, for this firm, and so it was a great. When it started, it was really good. We had a good time, but Candace she was very business. You know what I mean? Like she was took care of what she did, but she had a pleasant demeanor about her. She was attractive in that sense, like, she was stern and everything, but the more you got to know her, the more she opened up a little bit, just like, with us, but first and foremost, you knew just off the muscle that she knew what she was talking about, that she was an expert in what she did, and yeah, she was somebody that you should listen to, especially if she gave you any type of direction, anything, was asking you stuff. Hey, are you doing this? And making sure you're doing that. So we just happened to hit it off. She would always tell me, because I was always like maybe the first person there in the mornings, like every morning, I'm the first person in the office, and she used to walk in. I got my music playing, singing a song or something. So she was always, you always got a music, and I always had a song in my head. So I was always happy. Yeah, early in the morning, I'm just happy for no reason. But I was, happy I was at the opportunity that I have, and I have my, my reasons. So I was appreciative, because it wasn't always like that for me, personally. So, that's how I met Kandace. And that was an inside position, and then. Um, I had known Kandace about a year and a half, about a year prior to me getting out. And again, so last year at the beginning of 2023, I went through a divorce, going through it at the end of 2022, So that was over with in November, December. So of course, I wanted to, do a whole different.
Oh, he was going good, wasn't he?
Is it broke up
Yeah.
now? Is it
No, you're
stopped?
good. You're good.
Is it back? Okay, it's
Yeah,
just
you're
maybe
good.
going in and out. I'm sorry. So I don't know what the last part, but that was my introduction to Kandace. And then 2023, I was going through the divorce in the 2022, and 2023, I wanted to get back out in the field. And so, man, true enough, January 2nd, I was out in South Carolina working, and lo and behold, seen this tall skateboarder chick looking lost. Like she's just looking
Very
like,
lost.
am I in
Very
the right
lost.
place? Is who's here?
Right.
And so I don't know how, but we chatted, hey, whatever. We started connecting. We hit it off pretty instantly. And I mean, I was helping to get her car going out. Again, it was her first deployment. So she
Didn't
had
know anything.
questions. She didn't really know anything. But
All I had was questions.
but you only had to tell her one time. She had asked stuff twice, like she didn't have to. You told her one time, and she applied it, and then some. And so that was a great thing about Janea. And again, great personality. Um, she was like, hey, she was a sponge. She made herself a sponge, and whoever was there to give her some tidbits and whatever. Talk to these people that they were, it's great personalities, and they both were very open to, like, somebody like me. I can be a little offsetting to some people, like maybe be like, maybe too much, but they both were accepting of me and my personality, how they were, and so they were really easy for me to get along with. So it was a pleasure for me to meet both of them in like different senses, and I seen what they both bring to the table. So that's why it was, for me, when this opportunity arose for the 360 and for us to start getting together, just getting the core team together, I thought they would benefit. I knew that they would benefit this 360 community. So I definitely wanted to bring them
Absolutely.
aboard.
Absolutely. Okay, so since you said that, Kandace, what was your impression of the singer? Not just the good stuff, but what was like some like, okay, we gotta work on
Uh,
some stuff. I'm
uh,
about to go into this thing, baby,
why you got to bring it in, though?
because we all got
Sure.
that. I got
No,
a whole
that's
lot of
fine.
I got a whole lot
First
of it
off,
Yeah, let's
myself.
hear what she has to say.
first I want to say a shout out real quick because I noticed Travis Hott is on a hoodie none of us have access to yet. Someone need that white hoodie. I don't know if it's white or gray, so let us know, Trav. In addition to that, to answer your question, so yeah, I met D. It had to be like day one, day two. We were getting set up. It was him and one of his homeboys, and instantly I knew there was something about those two. I mean, I don't even remember what happened that stopped me right there with whatever I was going through doing. I was confirming people and like, being there. They had equipment, and him and his homeboy cracked some crazy joke, and I was like, "Oh, y'all trouble," and instantly we all fell out laughing, and from there it was like, I don't know, it was just easy. I mean, his homeboy was a little more quiet, more standoffish, and so D was the same from day one, singing and just hilarious and a people person. And so I don't think wherever we had him on the floor, I mean, he was always the first person there. He tried really hard, whatever he didn't know, he asked questions. And so, yeah, I mean, it was a long lasting impression. I can remember, I mean, up until days where he was gone, he beat me in the office sometimes. And let me tell y'all, I'm an early person. So when I say he beats me in the office, I mean, D was probably showing up about an hour and a half early,
Absolutely.
hour and a half early. And the
Man,
days he
okay,
Absolutely.
wasn't early
committed.
that I beat him, it was like, hey, you all right? But he'd always come
Right.
through with a tune. He'd always come through with a tune. So I knew if there was no tune, something
So
was
I'm going.
going on. Like, what's wrong with you, bro? So, but no, yeah. So I mean, just really somebody who had a lot of life, a lot of energy, and wanted to always help other people, and then really, really open to learn. So that was a long standing impression for me. Was
Mhm.
anytime he needed help, he was going to ask. If he didn't know what to do, he was going to be open to sit down with me and like whatever time it takes, Kandace. And so for me, that's always rung true. So when he called me about this opportunity, I I had to hear him out. I was like, I don't know, D, but I'll jump on the call. And when I got on the call, 2 calls in, I was like, okay, I'm sold. Let me know how I can help, whatever that looks like. So I was definitely glad to get calls after that from Dr. Brock. So and then it gave me the great opportunity to meet Miss Janea. So, yep, that's my story.
Okay.
Meeting the good old Meech.
Okay, I like it. I like it. What about yourself, Janea? What was your first impression of Miss K Joy after you guys linked up and met and everything? No, actually, when you guys
Right.
met in
So,
person, both of them.
well, I actually got a good experience virtually when I met her. Just her energy is just like I could feel it through, like, even right now through the screen. It's very welcoming. So when I met her in person, it was like I've known her for a while. Actually, that's the vibe that I got from her. Um, as far as Meech goes, man, I was so happy to see a friendly face. Man. I mean, like, think about it. You get a call for a deployment, they are calling you 2 days before you got to be there. You know what I'm saying? You're all over the place. You got to find somewhere to live temporarily. You know what I'm saying? Before you find out really where you have to go, and like to have just someone that you could just kick back and relax with, it was major for me. That was a great welcoming into this career for me. So I was very, very, very happy to meet him.
Okay, I like it. Okay.
Definitely.
So next question for anybody want to take it. As I think about this, I have these moments in my spirit, while working. What are some of the times you said, man, this thing sucks, man, I'm ready to give this thing up, man, during your deployment process? What's one moment you guys remember that pops up in your brain? Because you're all going to go through it. It's just what it is. When you're
I'll
out
take
there,
that one
it is
first.
frustrating sometimes. Oh my God.
I'll take that one first. That happened around 12 to 15 days and I was like,
What? You just showed up. What?
I was like, yo, it's hard. It's not easy. It's just like you have to be organized. Like you said, you're running your own business basically in a way. You know what I'm saying? You have to take care of your work. And so like you have to organize everything. You have to make phone calls. You have to make sure every file that's needed is in the claim file. You gotta schedule all your appointments. You know what I'm saying? You gotta follow up with people. Like you gotta answer voicemails and make sure you get back. Like it could be very overwhelming for some people. You know what I mean? So in the beginning, I was like, damn, can I do this? Just had that moment, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course I overcame it. Because when you get paid, you get a little motivation. But
What
so
would you
I
say?
it was
Say it again. Say what?
when you get that paycheck, you get a little extra motivation. You're like, you know what? Let's just pull it together. We can do this. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep fighting. Like we could do this. And then to be honest, like after 3 or 4 weeks, I was like, okay, like I'm really getting the hang of it. But that 3 weeks, yeah. I would definitely say between like 12 to 15 days in, I was like, damn, this is hard.
So Miss Kandace, as a manager and being in the game for a little while, as far as folks working with you, as far as adjusters, the ones that aren't doing the job that frustrate you, how do you keep yourself together? Because obviously you're a leader of people. Like, how do you keep that together? Because I'm sure you have some folks that you like, dude, I don't like you that much, man. You don't listen. Come on, man.
That's a good
Yep.
question.
Yeah. So that that's come, honestly, I'm going to say I've developed that skill over time. It's not something that comes easy, but I think when you lead for a reason, right? So as a leader, for me, I always talk to y'all about how I focus on building a culture and not just leading to lead. So when I think about people and people that I don't always necessarily mesh with, there's probably a piece that I'm missing, right? I don't know what motivates them. Maybe I don't know what's holding them back. One thing about this community focusing on people being healthy, a lot of times the more I get to know people, the more I realize the reason we probably weren't connecting, there's something going on. It's either something trauma wise, it's health wise, it was the I world mindset, right? Before they maybe joined where I am now. And sometimes it's just, you just don't know what it is until you break it down and ask sometimes. So for me, I really push through hard because I'm a firm believer in a lot of people have more capacity than a lot of people realize they have, right? And that other people that sit next to them may realize they have. I've had some bosses that was like, hey, you know what, Kandace, you're going a little too hard for that. Like just let it go. You wasting time on people that don't have capacity. And I'm like, I don't believe that. I believe sometimes it takes people a little bit longer, but I have to have the buy-in. And sometimes that's not there. But typically what I can find out is what their why is. If I can find out what their why is, what brings them to work every day, I can find that connection. So
Why
I'm
is
not
that
going to say
important
it
to you?
doesn't get
Why is that
It's
important
important.
to you as far as
It's
like,
important to me because for me as a leader, I want to connect more than just, I mean, I am there for work and I'm there for things to get knocked out, but because I care about my people and sometimes I know people are like, hey, that's not what I'm here for, but I want to make sure they're okay. Because really, at the end of the day, if they come in and they just lost their mom, you know, and it's somebody they were close to, I know some people are gonna say, well, I'm not close to my mom. Okay, well, you lose somebody you care about, right? And because in the IA world, a lot of people don't take time off during those things, or if they lose a child or they're going through some financial struggles, a lot of people don't care about that, but I need to know because it makes a difference on how you handle the customer, makes a
right?
difference on my client relationship, right? Or if your work gets behind, I can answer for that before we get into trenches. So for me, understanding their why is a little different. And I've definitely had some people stand off when I randomly call people too. So my eyes are like, oh shit, am I being cut today? And I'm like, no.
Yeah,
Well, how you doing?
that's a real thing.
Like, what's up? How
It's
you
a whole
doing?
thing.
And that is a whole, and I had to learn that, right? Because myself and a prior director that I worked with, we just like to randomly check on folks, and people panic. They didn't want to answer the phone. They didn't want to talk. It's like, hey, what's wrong? But for me, if I can understand what makes them tick, what's important at the end of the day, then I know when their numbers, when something is off on product or production, I know what it is typically. So for me, that's why it's important. Plus, like I said, it builds a certain culture. And I know all IE firms aren't like that. Firm I'm with right now, and just because I also believe in that in leadership, it's been something I've continued to just carry on.
Okay, good deal. Okay, I like it. I like that a lot. Demetrio, as far as for yourself on deployment, how do you manage your anxiety and stress? Because this is a very stressful opportunity because everything changes at the drop of a dime. Like it'll change on you, think you have it going on, think you got it. You're like, did it work no more? I gotta do something different. How do you manage that?
Managing anxiety and stress. For me, it's all about perception. As far as so my perception on things, sort of, when things become, I feel like they may become a little bit overwhelming, or um, I sort of look at my perception. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be there. So I take it on the chin, like I don't let it get too big for me. It may get a little challenging, but I know I like to rise for challenges. So I don't. I try to settle down, slow down if it's getting too much. Sometimes you can get a little bit erratic, and just things coming. This, like Janea was saying, check your emails. Check your voicemails. Do this, that, or the third. When a lot of the stuff, it seems like it's coming from every direction. Sometimes you just got to step back and just take a pause for the calls and just deal with one thing at a time, and don't let it become stressful. Know that you're there. Know that if you're there in month two, or whatever, know that you've survived these cuts. Know that they see something in you, that they've been keeping you around. Have confidence in your work. You'll be fine. Once you realize you'll be okay, and that you're there for a reason, and that you got people. Utilize people. Utilize your community, utilize your friends. Like, yo, my first deployment, Travis, you was with me. Even to
I
piggyback
quit.
on that
I
first,
quit so many times, bro. I quit.
I'm ready to go. I called my man, yo. He's like, yo, calm down, yo, stop, chill out. No, don't pack the car up. Sometimes when it gets a little bit over, reach out to your resources. This community will be great for that. Things get a little
This
bit
community,
overwhelming.
yes.
Call your people, be like, yo, man, it's getting hectic. Sometimes it just takes a voice, other than your own voice in your own head telling you what is too much, and somebody else drawing a clearer picture for you, or drawing another picture for you, and you can see things through a different lens. Sometimes that's all it takes. And you'll calm down, and you'll survive, and realize tomorrow is tomorrow, and you was tripping,
And that
the day
paperwork
before.
gonna be there tomorrow and the next day and the
It's
next
gonna be
day.
there, and you're gonna work with it, and then you'll find your
Right.
rhythm, and you'll look back on that and be like, man, I was tripping last week. It was good, man. So that's how I pretty
Right.
much deal with it. I reach out to my people, and help me
I
out,
got
man.
one more thing in that same vein because I know that you're a very empathic person.
Mm.
And whenever you're on deployment, you have a group of people, and sometimes things change with someone's motivation because they get weary or they get tired, or they get frustrated. How have you learned to step back from that? Because I know you want to like save the world and everything. That's just how you're like a world saver. That's how your energy is. Like, how have you learned, or what have you done to distance yourself from that? Because sometimes you can't save everybody.
Well, yeah, for me, that is a challenge, because I do like to help and try to, because I've been in people's shoes before. I've been where I wish somebody was there to help me. So when I see people in those situations, of course, I really try to extend myself. But I've learned that there's only so much that you can say. There's only so much you can do. You can't do the work for them. The old saying, you can lead a horse to the well, whatever. You can't make them drink or whatever, whatever.
Yeah, you did that one.
Yeah. So it comes to a point that, look, man, you can try, and you can, and if they're not giving the effort and, instead of
That
getting
part.
frustrated, you just,
That part
you
right
gotta
there.
put your hands, if you're seeing somebody going to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and you telling them what they got to do, and they got 75 tasks, and they're not trying to work with it. They like, and then they waking up at 9 o'clock, getting up at 8, 9, chit chat, the person's heart not in it. So I'm not finna pour myself into that. And that's when I'll draw the line. If I see somebody not putting in the effort, if I'm putting more effort into you than you putting into you, I'm only going to do that for so long. Because sometimes, we do need a little bit building up. And I agree. I'll put in a little bit more effort to get you there. But if I'm carrying you and then that's what you're expecting, then yeah, I'm gonna draw the line on that.
I asked that question because it comes to a point like when you're together and you're excited about what you're doing, you want the person to win with you. Like you start getting it, but they're not putting the same workload, same work you're putting in, same effort. They're just sitting back pouting. So when I come to Janea, like for yourself, how have you been able to navigate this year as a new person when the same person started the same time as you started? Like what for you helped you navigate the year? Because this is hard.
That's a good question.
I set her up. See that guy? See that Montel over here, homie? All
right. What helped me navigate? I mean, in the beginning, like I said, the company that I work for, QA Claims, they had a pretty good system set up where they had people to help you that was like assigned to you. So to be honest, in the beginning, this one guy who was assigned to me in my first deployment, which ran into my second deployment, he helped me for like the first, I would say, 2 to 3 months. Like in the beginning, I was talking to him every single day. Like, I mean, we were on the phone sometimes for like 2 hours. I'm like, bro, I have so much work to do. But I was so grateful that he gave me that time because he really poured into me. And like I said, I was very grateful for that. So that's what helped me in the beginning. And then towards the middle of this year, it was all like I got a component deployment. So since that component deployment, it was like, okay, I have to be my own motivation.
What's
like
component
how
again?
hard.
What's
Well,
just
yeah,
generality?
for those who don't know, component is the one of the ways that they will pay you basically off the damages, the amount of damages that you find. So you get a set fee if it's like 20,000 or less, depending on the carrier, of course. And then after 20,000 or more, you get like a percentage of how much that
So
the
you make money as
damages
you
are.
close claims.
So basically, you basically can control how much you make depending on how hard you go. Like if you want to do only 2 a day, then you do your 2 a day. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do 10 a day, then you know what I'm saying, you'll go hard and do 10 a day. I mean, like Travis, he's a monster. You know what I'm saying? I'm not there yet, but when that component deployment happened for me, it like motivated me because it's really like, okay, the ball's in my court. Like I can control basically how well I do. And I like to push myself. That's really the thing. I just like to push myself and just see what is like the top, So I mean, in the beginning before I met Travis, and I met Travis pretty early on, like when I first got to Chicago, thank the Lord through Meech, you know what I'm saying? When I first got to Chicago in July is when I started talking to Travis. So before I talked to Travis, I was like doing 3 a day and I was like, oh, man, and I don't know how anybody does more than this. Like this is hard to do 3, to do the report, to do all your other work. You know what I'm saying? Like it was very, very hard. And I did get released from that deployment in about like 6 or 7 weeks, So I had a lot of time to think to myself, like, damn, how do I get back on deployment? How do I do this better? Like after every deployment, that was like my main thing is reviewing how you did. Like, what can I do better? So I guess that's really how I navigated. And then of course, like I said, after I met Travis, having this community, it was so much easier being on deployment. Like it's mentally it's easier. Not like I'm coming to them every day asking questions. I need help with all my work. It's just mentally these people are going through the same thing you've gone through. They'll help you ease into the situation. Like it's just this community was able to help me stay on deployment until the end, to be honest, because I would have left. After Meech, I would have been like, all right, it's time to go.
Let me interject a little bit. Here. Another thing that has kept her on deployment is they love Janea. They love Janea, Anthony Eisen, all the big wigs. She made herself a favorite. She's like teacher's pet. They love her because she does what they say do, and they don't have to tell her again. She implements what they say, and she take care. She started being hey, I got a problem claim. Here, handle it. And when you're that person, when you become that person, and when you have the management, all of them feel that way about you because of your work ethic, because of the things that they've seen you handle, because of the information, the stuff that you didn't know and they told you, and then you implemented it immediately. She's made herself a favorite.
And that's something that anybody could do. It's not like I'm doing something that's so outstanding. You know what I mean? Like that's something that you're in control of. Like when you first get on deployment, you ask a bunch of questions. If they, if they have someone there that's able to help you. If not, you have us. That's what we're here for, literally. Ask us those questions so you can stand out to your managers. I promise you, you do the small things over and over very well, you'll stand out. Like it's not hard. It's really not hard. It's really about how much you can give.
Yep. Stay off the list. The simple stuff. Return voicemails. You know what I mean?
Like simple things.
Stuff like that. Simple things. You do those in the beginning. You ain't got to know about how to go write an estimate, they'll teach you those things. You do the simple things that, they'll be like, okay, you're teachable. We can work with you. And if they feel that they can do that, man, you'll stay on. Period.
Okay. I like it. So, K-Joy, question for you, Coach. As far as a manager, and you have to let people go, tell them like they are no longer, your service no longer wanted. You're good, you're great, you're awesome. However, you got to go. For people that you actually like and have the rapport with, how do you not take that? What do you do personally to not have that affect you? Because that can be tough. They're excited about it, they're pumped up, they're finally getting it, but then they have to get let go from the position.
That's tough.
That's a real thing.
That's for real. And I've had some that some are easier, some are harder, and I've definitely had some that I struggled with that they could tell, that later they told me, hey, I could tell in your voice, I could tell because they know me well enough by that point. I could tell you struggled with it. I understand. I even had, to answer your question, what I do. So I try to just take a moment, right, and get my thoughts together and share what they've done well, where the opportunities have come from, and what we've grown in. Like, let's have a self-awareness moment. Let's talk about how I'd love to see you back. You know what I'm saying? And some people, no, but it's the truth, right? Like, I want to share what's gone well and where the opportunities are, but I also want to make sure there's stuff. One thing about me, I'm a transparent leader. Like, there's a certain level of transparency in leadership you just can't get past sometimes. But one thing nobody that's worked for me can say is that I wasn't as transparent as I could be with them with communication. They weren't blindsided. Even people we've brought back to assignments and had to let go. I can think of one particular instance of somebody that happened with, and by the time that second time came around, he had some personal issues happen, was on the brink of overcoming that, and we just got the word from the client like they don't need him anymore. And my heart was y'all, this is what we do, right? But I just was like myself and the director that I was working with at the time, I had a hard time delivering the news. And that was probably one of the first times that I had such a hard time in this world delivering the news. And so I had to just take a minute before we got on that call, breathe a minute, think about, unfortunately, this is the world of the like many IAs. This is what they do. They know the day is coming. And then I just have to really, reason with myself, right? Like I asked myself, like, how have I been to them? And then I asked them truthfully, like, what feedback do you have for us? Because I really want to know, and could I have done something different? But yeah, in those moments after that call, I ain't gonna lie, it took me my director at the time was like, Kandace, just take a minute. You know, we don't have anything going on. Take a minute. And what I will say is that person, a friend of a friend, we ended up all getting together for his birthday at one point. And even at his birthday party, his family and friends knew that when I fired him, I don't know what he told them, but they were like, we know that it was very hard for you. And we just want you to know, like, we don't have any problems with you. I was like, what? Like, that was
they told the whole family,
right?
hey, she was cool, but I had to let go.
Yeah, she's cool. She used to be my boss. By the way, she fired me. But they all made it a joke. I was so uncomfortable at first. I was like, oh my God, these people hate me, you know? And so, but yeah, just honestly, I had to take a minute away. I have to, I mean, it does. It hits hard sometimes. You connect with people in different ways. And I'm not talking about unprofessionally, but you get to know their stories, right? You get to know their whys. You get to know what else they want to do. And so when that time comes, and again, a lot of eyes will tell you, I mean, that's the whole point. Like, I'm working to work myself out of a job, but still when that day comes, it's not always easy to have the conversation as easy as people would think. So yeah, a lot of times I have to take a moment away. I have to breathe. I kind of have to think back through, you know, what are the highlights? Because I just want to be able to share those things with them. And that stuff does matter to me. I want to share what positive things have happened with the client, if I hope to see them again on another assignment, right? And even some of them that haven't done well have hit hard. You know, I mean, it's just sometimes it's not, people think it's easy because it's like, oh, okay, well, they weren't performing. Well, sometimes you know a little more about their story and your heart just goes out, you know, because people are people and they have to have time to heal through things they're going through. That doesn't always make it easy to let them go, you know. But yeah, a lot of times I just have to take some time and have a moment to myself and in my own head and in my thoughts. And then I kind of think back through how they've done on the assignment because I want to be able to shine some positive, you know what I mean, if I can, with what they've done, and then where they've, you know, if they've had some opportunities and we didn't surpass them, what can they do in the time they're down, right? Like, I hope you will do this, this, and that. Hopefully you'll stay, you know, open to come back to our rosters. You're rehireable, even if they're not rehireable to that account, because that happens too, where it's like, we can't bring you back on this account ever, but you're rehireable within this firm.
That sounds like there's something bad.
I know
they did something wrong, boy.
Y'all laughing, but sometimes it's like, hey, you know, this just because different accounts are different complexities, right? And so everybody doesn't have that skill set. And so for me, I want to send them off with something like, hey, I hope that you'll take time to, you know, understand how to de-escalate customers. I hope you take time to work on time management and drop a few nuggets, hopefully as a reminder on the way out the door. And then a lot of times I just remind them I'm here if you need anything. So, but yeah, and then after that, honestly, I do a lot of times I do just kind of, my team will know. I just kind of I step away, you know. Hey, hit me if y'all need me. You know what I'm saying? I just need a minute because it's still a human factor. And I think that's the. I know some firms, people are like, you know, whatever, they cut us and move on. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
And let me say it, some releases are easier than others.
Right.
I can imagine. All right, talk about when you have released Demetrio.
Yeah, we've all gotten those calls.
That's a very nice way to put it, Kandace. Some are easier than others.
Hey, so Demetrio, you go on deployment, you're doing your thing. You was like, thought you was getting it. You was doing everything right. You was moving the needle. You was doing your thing right.
Right.
Then you got let go.
Right.
For you, how'd you handle that? Like in those moments, I know because for me, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let you share first. Like, how'd you handle that after you were like giving everything you got and you was getting better, but they said, "No, I'll play you out."
For me, I ain't lying. I instantly get excited. Like, oh, I'm gonna kill it my next one. Because I'm like, oh
that
man,
better than me, boy. I'd be pissed.
I was like, yo, because it don't do me no good to be mad. I can't get angry. Getting pissed off doesn't help. You know, I mean, it doesn't nothing. I build up acid in my stomach. And, you know what I mean? It does nothing. I get excited about my next one. Because I was like, oh, I understood. It clicked. And as soon as it clicked, I got released. It's happening. You know what I mean? Like, and so I instantly, start figuring out, okay, so on my next one, I got to do this. I'm going to come in. I'm going to be organized. I'm going to get a planner. I'm going to do this. I'm going to, what I'm saying, write all of this stuff down. So, yeah, I instantly start, I get disappointed, because I want to keep working and whatnot. But I don't really, get it to me again, man. I try to keep a positive attitude about stuff, man. It helps me get through a lot, trying to remain positive.
So you just wasn't mad at all? It's cool. Okay, cool.
I told you, I have a knee-jerk reaction, bro. I got a knee-jerk reaction. My knee-jerk reaction is like, man, mother, However,
I just want to make sure that was. I want to make sure you're human.
Nah, man, I'm human, dog. You know what I'm saying? I go do my meditation. I do my meditation, and and I appreciate the opportunity. And again, I just started looking on the positive side. Try to draw all of the good stuff out, man. And man, I look forward to pressing on.
Okay. So, Janea, my question for you is this. In this year, you've done pretty well financially. You've done really, really good, right? How has your relationship with money changed this year? Because I noticed you be like tight and everything, how's everything changed for you?
For
relationship with the money.
I was broke. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to take a little time for me to just be, super free. Like I'm still building. Like in my mind, and this is like not from a great place, but in my mind, I have to build a better relationship with money because like I'm still like, well, nothing is guaranteed. I don't know when I'm gonna be working, or I don't know when I'm gonna go on my next deployment. Like even though Beach says, "Oh, you're great, everybody loves you," you still have that in your mind. Well, like nothing is guaranteed. I don't have anything right now. I am not I'm not employed right now, technically. You know what I mean? Even though I just finished. So, but as far as how my relationship did change with money is like, it's just nice to not have to worry about, okay, I got to make rent. You know what I mean? Like now I can pay all my bills on the first for the month. I can pay all my bills and not have to worry about anything. To me, that's amazing. My mom could be like, damn, I need $150. I could be like, here's 300. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just little things like that where I don't even have to think about it. So it's definitely changing in a positive way. I have a lot of work to do. I'm not gonna lie. I have a lot of work to do. But as time goes on, I'll get more comfortable, that's for sure. But I'm still like, listen, I'm broke. I don't know what you're talking about. Who got what? Where? Not me.
Okay. So is it true this year you made up $100,000 this year? Is that true, Janea? You made up $100,000. Is that true?
That is true. That is true.
Over 150?
First time. Yes, that's true. Over
$200,000. Okay, cool. All right, bet. I know, like I didn't know. What was your best month financially from what you remember as far as like I made this amount in the month?
Right. I would say my second component deployment that I was on in Chicago. I had 2 really good months where I made, well, I don't know how much it was before tax, I guess, but after tax, I made about 25,000. So I was happy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's after tax, like, and I get taxed a lot. I don't know about you guys, but I get taxed a lot.
Hold on, how you gonna just like I made 25,000?
Like they'll deposit.
You know what it is?
Like,
because we fighting for the 100K. I'm just
that's
like, yeah,
when you make
that
the money.
So like,
when you making money, I'm just 25,000.
You know what's crazy? You know what? You know why it's crazy? Because like my second month of working, like my second month, which was February of this year, I was lucky enough to go on a deployment to California where I was making $68 an hour. I didn't know what I was doing. Like you have to understand, I started interior. Like my first deployment with Beach, we was all inside. I never stepped on a roof. So when I got sent to California, it was like I got knocked back down because it's like, damn, I don't know anything about the outside. Now I have to like do that all over. Like, how do I do that? Like, how do I get on a roof? How do I set up a ladder? I don't know. And they're just like, here, are you okay? Can you do it? All right, great. Let us know when you get there. Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? They're not teaching you safety and all that. You have to go out there and get that information yourself. So
yeah, that's why we here.
I forget the question, but
I like it. So Coach Cajo, my question for you is this. I asked this question last week to the panel last week, but the question is, as far as from a manager perspective, who should not do insurance adjusting? Like who should say who is not a good candidate, who will waste their time from a managerial perspective?
That's a great question.
Yeah. So I think the answer I will answer this myself, but I think there was something said last week about, some of the competencies and stuff like that, and certain people should do it. Organized, detail oriented, honest, right? Honest. I'm going to say motivated because you're driving your own business, Um, some of the things I want to talk about with that though is, something was said last week, like, hey, if you're not, don't do it. Here's the thing. I don't know about y'all. Most of the people I know that became independent adjusters, they became independent overnight. They weren't adjusters first. They weren't on staff. I mean, some were. Everybody's story is different. I was staff, but a lot of them, when I talk to people that come on to our firm, it's an overnight decision. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I think about some of Major's friends we've heard talk. Oh, we talked to and I don't know their stories intricately, so if I misspeak, guys, please don't hate me. Oh, I talked to Major. The next thing it's like, oh, I got a license now. I'm making this. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I listen to other people y'all have brought on. A lot of people in the industry that I've talked to, same thing. Somebody died. Somebody's family member died. They didn't know how they were going to bury them. Now all of a sudden, they somebody in this business that's making them out every month. Hey, I can do that. Right now, you can't tell everybody's not ready. Everybody's not detail oriented. They're not there, and that's okay. That's why we talk about this community being able to help build people up. If you want to do it, right? And a lot of times the motivation, that why, is key because it's the money, right? To help them get to places they've never been. So to answer your question, I feel like I'm going along a little bit out, but I say that to say, the competencies definitely that are going to be big, right, are going to be integrity. You're going to need someone who's detail oriented. You're going to need someone who's willing to take feedback, who's self-aware. There's all these great competencies. Coachable. But my thing is in the independent world, how many people start out that way? That's why a lot of people say, oh, I was on my first appointment for 3 months and I sucked. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, I don't even know how they kept me that long. And it's like, well, they kept you, one, because there was a need, two, because you were able to spit out something, right? But think about how much more you can be on deployment, like how much longer you can be on deployment if you can get those things. And you don't have to have them under control. All I'm saying is be willing to work on them, right? So I don't know if y'all caught that. Travis asked Demetrio something about when he got let go one time, and basically, did he throw a fit? That's how I heard it. That's not what Travis said. And Demetrio was like, oh no, I pretty much handle myself one way. I may kick and scream, whatever. And then Travis was like, oh, I got to work on that. How many people have come in the game for this and are already 100% on those competencies? I can tell you, not most. Now, maybe some that are transitioning from certain worlds already, right? Maybe. And maybe some are. I'm not saying everybody. What I'm saying is a lot of people that are new to this, that's part of the problem. They don't have business maturity. They're not organized. That's where the time management, right, for the field or the desk comes in, because they don't know because they haven't had to do it. They've come from multiple industries, which is fine. That's the lovely thing about this, though, right? And as long as you can be coachable and trainable, the rest of it you can grow into. You know what I mean? So for me, I have a hard time saying that there's anybody out there that can't do this.
I was talking to somebody the other day about this.
That's a good answer.
Oh, thank you. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day that always has these we talk a lot about whether college degrees are needed, all this different stuff, stuff he does, driving truck, just all kind of stuff. And I asked him, I said, I hadn't really mentioned it because you hadn't said too much if you're interested in open. And he was like, you said they make good money. I know you've always been a trustworthy person. If you're telling me to get on this call, I at least want to do some research. Let me watch some of the videos in the background. Let me, and I say, hey, yeah, all I'm telling you is check it out from a different perspective. We have a ton of different perspectives out there. So my thing is, and see, this is where sometimes my heart gets in trouble, because that boss of mine that told me, everybody don't have capacity, and I still went to bat for all those people that I felt like had capacity. Some of them made them, some of them made it, some of them didn't. Again, right? But the same thing goes with this industry. It's teachable. You can learn it. How many of us sitting on the call today didn't know anything about it when we walked in it? You know what I mean? And then how many of you learned it? So my thing is, it's hard for me to say there's this, people can be making this if they want to. 18, 21, 45, 62, whatever number you want to throw out
there.
Hear
that, Ricky?
It's a matter of decision, just like we do every day. Oh, no. Let me tell you something about Ricky, though. So I've been wanting to say this, and I hope it's okay.
I got it.
So I got to talk to Ricky while we were in Michigan. And he started, I don't remember how we got on the story about how he got into doing hair and different things. So let me tell y'all, the day that Ricky gets to talk to y'all about his story, it is so keen. And I don't even know if he's still in hair or not, but I just left feeling so like, who I think somebody challenged him about him and some advice he gave about them doing his wife's hair. And he said, oh, I could probably do that. They were like, oh, no, probably not. And he was like, okay, let me go to beauty school and get this done. And then he had a whole career. I don't even know what I missed in between him and his wife. I just know that I think a lot of y'all. So I'm sorry, Ricky.
I like it. I like it. Hey, my bad. Go ahead.
That actually ties into what we're talking about, right? Like somebody, he was just sitting, if I understand it right, he was sitting there. Somebody was working, doing his wife's hair. He gave some advice of what he thought could work, and the woman was kind of like, if basically really tacky from what I understood to him about it. And it was like, well, if you think you can do better, go to school for it. And then he was like, okay. And then he went and made a whole career. Like, let me tell you how that ties into what Travis is talking about. Like, this is the person, if you don't think you can do it, and I know people gonna say, well, doing hair is different. It's still the same thing, right? You go to school, you learn what you need to, and then the rest of that, guess what he had to do on top of that? He had to continue learning and applying himself to learn it.
Correct.
It doesn't matter if they were talking about his wife's hair. He still had to put in the work. It's no different than what we're doing every day for this, no matter what level you want to do it at.
That's correct.
For me, it's hard to say that there's people out there that can't do it. I think people sometimes have to realize the things they may need to work on themselves, which is why this community is huge to me, on how they get there. And I'm talking about the business maturity piece. You mean you can't be cussing customers out, right? You can't be like, I done had a bad day, so right? Can't be having that. Like, that's not gonna happen. You can't be womenizing people just because you're sitting there working like, oh, he looks good. Okay, let me holler at him, and vice versa with the men. You have to have a level of professionalism. And I know that sounds crazy, but when I think about some of the things that come across my desk of people that were like, he did not seriously just say that to that woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, now we have to walk you out for sexual harassment. Come on. So I say that to say, like, there's a lot. Yeah, well, I won't say too much because we're on video. Okay. So I'm just saying, like the things that come up that people aren't dealing with and they don't even recognize as a problem in a professional world. No matter the fact is that you can learn this and be a professional. It's a professional career, right? It's a well-respected career.
Absolutely.
You really can walk out of high school. In fact, if I recall, is it Major that was watching his aunt for years? Major, I don't want to lie on your story, buddy.
That's correct.
Was it you that knew your aunt was doing this for years? I thought. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
so
my godmother.
Look at what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Major came out the gate ready because of somebody he saw and recognized that value and was like, let me learn this. And Major is now what, young, early 20s? I'm sorry, Major, I ain't trying to.
I'm 28. I'm
always
28.
Impressed.
You know what I'm saying?
This young man, I'm just saying, this young man's doing multiple things. He's gotten his, at 20, 25 years old, you know what a lot of people doing? It ain't that. It ain't trying to figure out how they can make money and not owe money back. Let me tell you how student loans are still sitting on a lot of people's debt, right? Back. So all I'm just saying is like, what's wrong with making a legit career? You may work hard, whether that's your field, right? You're going to work hard either way. And there's a lot to learn. There's a lot of money to be had with it. And you can go and do so many other things you want to do in life.
Absolutely.
I like it.
I don't, Travis, I'm sorry. I think I went.
No, you're good.
Ricky, thank you for letting me add in your story. I hope that was correct. And Major, thank you.
Everything was good. No problem.
It's look glittery and shiny over there.
She does. I want to apologize to our studio audience, guys. I didn't share time for questions. My bad, gang. I know we got, I got excited about these folks talking. I got excited about it. So, Montel, I'm giving an Emmy today. Give me an Emmy. Daytime Emmy, boy, ready to go. I got the ball head and everything. Let's do it.
Jesus Cristo.
Huh?
No, man, I speak Spanish. You don't know about Spanish.
I don't.
Candace,
hey, Brother Leslie, you got any questions for us? Any questions before we hang up? Mr. Miles, are there any questions that we got going on for our esteemed panel? No? Yeah.
Yeah. How long do you usually, and this is Chino talking now, how long do you usually wait until, your next deployment? I know it varies differently, depending when you get called up, but what is like the longest period you usually expect until you start checking your phone? Like, I haven't got called up in a minute. What does that usually look like?
What's cool about it is if you realize the game that it's all seasonal, you'll know what to expect each time of the seasons. Like right now, as it gets colder, it'll be a lot of pipe bursting happening pretty soon, like the nor'easters up north, a bunch of this cold weather. So within like the next few months, next few weeks, that'll be happening. So, be patient with that. Then after that, I'm gonna let Demetrio break down the next season, which would be what the wind and hail going on and tornado.
Yeah.
To answer the question, to answer your question,
I ain't answer the question. Man, it's fine.
no. You started talking about some other stuff. Answer your question. In about, I say a couple of months, maybe. Like you said, it is seasonal. So if you get released, say for instance in October, the next thing is probably going to be some freeze claims. So you're looking at maybe December, January, if you're one of the ones that get called out first. So maybe a couple of months. The good thing about this is that as soon as you get released, you file unemployment. You get unemployment, no questions asked. So that floats you, and you get the max. That's gonna float you or help float you to your next deployment. Hopefully you got to put away some money, work on your credit, build you some credit so you can start utilizing your credit and all of that in between your deployments. Become a good steward of your money, because you may not know how long exactly it's gonna be, but put yourself up enough to tide yourself where you ain't got to be worrying about nothing for 3, 4, 5, 6 months or whatever. Because you're able to do that. You're able to, calculate. I would say calculate how much you need to spend each month bill wise, how much you do, and put that boom, 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 boom. So you'll know you got enough. But to answer your question again, I say about 2 or 3 months sometimes will be the max.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on what, like you said, when you get released. Like Travis said, freeze claims happen early in the year. Literally last year on Christmas Day in South Carolina, they had a freeze where so many pipes burst, people were away,
And
their
Atlanta.
homes were destroyed. That's how me and Meech. All right, so that's how me and Meech got started. They called me on December 28th, 29th. Hey, can you be in South Carolina on the 1st? No problem.
Yep.
After January, like Travis said, wind and hail claims happen. March, April, hail starts to hit, and then after the hail season, that's when things kind of slow down, right, guys? In your opinion?
Well, a little bit. Them hurricanes.
Hurricanes. Excuse me. After hurricane season. After hurricane season.
Hey, when the hurricanes kick up,
June, July, August.
You can wind up working for a year. You can work a year or two off a hurricane. So, but that's how it goes. Like she's saying. So hurricanes will get you June, July, August, September. So you'll be hurricane and all of that. And then now next thing you know, it comes to winter, the freeze claims again. So you'll work a year through freeze, hail, hurricane, tornado. All of those things are seasonal and they happen. So that's why it's important to sort of to get your license in accordance to that. Get your licenses in accordance to that.
And just to add to that, the slower months are usually now, or like the people that work all year, they usually take off in December, January for the holidays. So that's why those newer people are getting called in the middle of the winter in December or January, because those other people are like waiting for the bigger seasons where they're going to be working a long time per se. So you got to really be ready. You just got to stay ready, to be honest, because you asked how long could you be waiting for deployment. After the first deployment that I got released, I went home for a week. 8 days later, they called me, hey, can you go out to Missouri? You know what I mean? So the second time I got released, they called me a month later. Hey, can you go out here? So it's really, depends on what you got going on.
Absolutely.
Hey man, the Cowboys lost, man. They lost.
All right, the meeting's over with. Is this over?
Yeah, we did go a little
pretty much over.
Y'all have a nice night, man.
We're gonna go ahead and check you out later on, man. Hey, Coach Ryan, what's up, man?
Coach, how you gonna do it, Coach? God dang.
Yeah, man. Look, don't try to finish out on a sour note.
Hey, boy, I hope you get coal in your stockings. I hope you got coal in your stockings for Christmas. Yeah. Santa Claus. Skip
But
over
no,
your
for real,
house.
thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, especially
Big
on
Larry,
Christmas
what's
Eve.
going on,
Like,
LP?
I very much appreciate that. Come back
Here
to
we
it for another episode.
What's up, Winston?
I knew my boy Larry gonna come through for me. That's what I'm talking about.
Here we
What's going on, folks? Happy holiday, Merry Christmas.
We still gonna go,
man.
baby.
Merry
Still gonna
Christmas.
go all day long, man.
Still
But
go.
man,
Trying to
thank y'all
come
for
through
joining
so
us.
late, but you know.
Okay,
things
Winston,
happen.
over here. That boy Winston out of space on y'all. That's what I'm talking about.
Out of space on him, ain't he?
That boy out of space. That boy of the
Straight
world.
from the space shuttle.
You know what I'm
From
saying?
the mothership.
Hey man, happy. Somebody who saying something? Oh, okay. Larry got a guest over there.
All right, folks.
No, Larry.
No, I'm in Tennessee with my
Larry.
sister.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, let me get it right.
Hey, get it right. I belong here.
He said he's my guest.
Excuse me.
Get it right, Larry.
Oh, shoot, man. Let's get up off this call, man, before we get Larry in trouble.
It's time to
Larry,
go.
man.
I'll talk to you guys later. Have a Merry Christmas.
All right.
All right, you too, Janea.
You guys are awesome.
Bye, y'all. Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining
Peace
us
out,
tonight.
everybody.
To all of you too. And I've been wondering where he was at.
Merry Christmas.
All right, everybody.
Deep dug off in the corner. Larry, what you doing, man?
Man, I ain't doing that, man. I'm finna get
That boy
out.
got trouble. Hey, Ivan, boy. You got caught up, Ivan. He got caught up. You see him, Ivan? Like, man, I ain't do nothing, man.
Hey,
I'm gonna get the money.
Merry Christmas, everybody. I'm out.
All right, y'all.
Bye.